They'll never take me alive, I'm getting high with my 4-5. Cops only suffer time I die, even as a youngster. Causing ruckus on the back of the bus. I was a fool all through high school, kicking up dust. But now I'm labeled as a troublemaker. Who can you blame? Smoking weed up me, take away the pain. So I'm hopeless, rolling down the freeway, swerving. Don't worry, I'm about to crash upon the curb, cause my business bloody, baby. If they try to understand me, what should I do? I had to feed my fucking family, what else could I do? But be a thug, I'm slanging with the homies, fuck hanging with them phonies in the club. Got my mind on danger, never been a stranger to homicide. My city's full of gangbangers and drive-by. Why do we die at an early age? Even so young, but still a victim of the 12 gauge. My memories of a corpse, mind full of sick thoughts, and I ain't going back to court. So fuck what you thought. I'm drinking Hennessy, running from my enemies. Well, I live a beat 23. There's so much pain.
Was in on it. She covered up Joe's obvious mental decline.
Our president is in good shape, in good health, tireless, vibrant, and I have no doubt about the strength of the work that we have done.
But Kamala knew Joe couldn't do the job, so she did it. Look what she got done. A border invasion, runaway inflation, the American dream dead. They created this mess. Kamala owns this failed record. Make America Great Again Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Welcome in, everyone. That was a very fitting video, I believe. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. It's the end of the weekend. Gotta go back to work tomorrow and start it all over again. Hey, Grandma. Hey, Georgia Boy. Jen. What else we got in here? Hey, MAGA. MAGA Max. Good to see you. And everyone on YouTube and on X. Glad to see you. I can't see the comments on that area just yet. I haven't figured that part out, but I am working on it. But yeah, big news today. Biden dropped out of the race of the election, the 2024 election, and he endorsed Kamala Harris. Kamala. Get choked up. Haven't even say that. Kamala. I mean, come on. Really? A lot of guessing going on by who will be her VP. And how that will take place. The DNC is going to start. I think the convention is the 19th to the 23rd. And I guess we'll wait and see if enough delegates decide to maintain her. And Alex Soros just recently, tonight, endorsed her and said she should be the Democrat candidate. And he supports her. Also, we had to, let's just play this one video here. You know, Harry started in with his shit. But then we actually have a voice of someone explaining why they do not want Kamala to run as she is.
We just got some massive breaking news. Vice President Kamala Harris has raised $27.5 million in the first 5 hours of her candidacy.
The fact that the only way that the world would allow a black woman to become a president is if she gets slipped in by the former president when he pulls out and then he endorses her is very much my issue. You're trying to manipulate us. The fact that this is the same black woman that does not have a black family. This is the same black woman that imprisoned all of those men for marijuana charges while she's smoking it and then laughs about it. This is the same black woman that imprisoned a man that was innocent. She had information and evidence that would have freed him, but she chose to keep it to herself and then only free him when the courts forced her to do it. She's not a good person. The fact that Biden thinks that black people are so stupid that we're going to accept her after he pulls out the race, when this was the plan from the very beginning, and she's not the perfect candidate, especially as a black woman. She don't mess with us.
Well, I have to agree with her. I mean, we're talking about an evil woman. This is an evil, evil woman. I mean, some are calling her that harlot that's in the Bible that's put up. I know she is Indian. She said a few times that she, was a black woman. And then one next election or something, she'd say she was, Indian. I think Kamala Harris decides to go on a whim as to the way the party's running at that moment, or when something's running at that moment. I do believe that that's what this is all about with her. This is going to get very interesting, I believe. Let's see. Oh, she's done. They don't want her. No, she does spit truth. I've seen quite a few videos like that. I mean, there's a lot of people very angry, and I can't much blame the Democrat Party. I mean, they're all about democracy, even though we are a constitutional republic. But let's just say I was a Democrat, and I believe that way of thinking. Just kind of bypass. And it's just, that's crazy. That's just crazy the way they do it. But let's see if I can bring it up. I've had so many. You guys are gangster over here, popping everything on the Telegram, and I'm going back and forth trying to do it. Trying to find it. I had everything lined up, but it's gone. Oh, there it is. Okay, there we go. Hang on a minute, guys. It's a lot of work doing all this stuff. But I love doing it because I get to see you guys. We get to put this truth out here. All right. Let's watch. Oh, man, it won't let me do it. I guess I have to download it. Anyway. Yeah, she was quite pissed off about that, and she knows exactly what she's talking about. This is wrong. And even the bunch of Republicans that I've spoken to, they absolutely agree with it as well. But do you think he just dropped out because he knew he would lose? He knew he would lose. And I do believe this was the plan altogether. I believe they were going to take out Donald Trump. I believe they're going to take out him, and they needed their plan to go. Because you got to think, these are people that are playing with elites. These are people that are like solely evil. I'm talking some evil, like biblical evil stuff that's going on. And I don't know, I cannot fathom. But this is why we don't have a reason why he dropped out. This is all we've been given.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox, and we have some breaking news as President Joe Biden has just announced that he is dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. This happening just moments ago. You are taking a look at the letter that he has just issued, and we are going to read it in its entirety. It says, "My fellow Americans, over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans. We've provided critically needed care to 1 million veterans exposed to toxic substances, passed the first gun safety law in 30 years, appointed the first African-American woman to the Supreme Court, and passed the most significant climate legislation in the history of the world. America has never been better positioned to lead than we are today." It goes on to say, quote, "I know none of this could have been done without you, the American people."
But we've given no reason why. And he's still the president of the United States, which Mike Johnson and other Republican leaders have requested that he step down or be removed as president. A lot of people are on the fence about that, but some agree that that's what should happen at this time. But I mean, we are in a mess, y'all. I mean, we are in a huge, huge mess like we've never seen before. But let's take a minute and let's see how and what people are saying about it.
Biden made this decision, one that, some Democrats wanted him to make it sooner than now. But
is it interesting to you that we haven't seen a picture of Joe Biden today? We don't have a picture of him signing the letter. I mean, this is a huge decision. Also, the letter doesn't say why exactly he's stepping down. Why is he stepping down? He's the current. We've been talking about this for weeks. He's the current president. He's now apparently unable to continue in his race. We don't know why exactly he is stepping down. I think Republicans who are raising concerns about his fitness to lead today have good questions today, and now they're unanswered by this letter and the mystery surrounding him today.
Yeah, well, he does have COVID, so I think that's probably why we're not seeing him. I just talked to Chris Coons, his co-chair, who spoke to him after this announcement came out and talked about this. He said he's not resigning the presidency, despite those calls from people like House Speaker Mike Johnson. But I do want,
he has COVID. He can't do a video. He can't do over the phone. He can't call into a station. He can't talk. He has COVID. You guys, he has COVID. Pandemic, COVID. What a crock of shit. This has been the plan. I mean, at this point, it's like you need to scream, hey, we need proof of life. I need proof of life. Because, I mean, what the hell's going on in this country? What the hell's going on? And, I mean, these people are really taking this, like, really hard. Like, really hard.
Joe Biden is grounded. He's grounded in his faith, in his family, and in our state. Excuse me. I'm sorry. This was a very difficult decision. Joe Biden.
He's tore up. I mean, I ain't making fun of him because he's tore up. I guess I figured the first person I'd see doing that would be Harry Sisson. I'm just saying. That's who I thought would do it. But, I mean, I can understand. I mean, if it was Trump, but I mean, let's give him a moment of silence. Okay, it's over. Here's what the rest of them have to say.
We're pushing for this to happen. It's kind of like when your grandpa, you got to take the keys, and everybody, you got to take his keys, you got to take his keys, you got to, and he's fighting and he's fighting, and everybody's so frustrated, and then you finally get the keys back, and then you just cry, because this is somebody that you love, this is somebody that you care about, this is somebody who was there for you, this is somebody you wouldn't be here without him, and you have to take something from him. Now, this is not, look, this politics is politics, but this is a human moment for one of the great humans in America. This is a huge moment for him, for his family, for all of us who love him, for all of us who wanted him to get across the finish line. But if you're a young person watching this, this is leadership. This is patriotism. This is what it means to put the country first and put the party first and put the cause first. When your arm gets tired, you let somebody else finish pitching the game. That's what Joe Biden has done, and he's done that for all of us. And so I just want to say, I don't know who's going to be the VP, the non-VP. I don't know anything about politics. I just know that I love this man. I care about this man. It was painful every day to sit up here and talk about him like he's just some problem for the party. Wait till we get to the convention. You're going to see people crying, standing, screaming, cheering. He may not get a chance to talk for 10 minutes. We finally get a chance to put our arm around this guy. He did the right thing for this country. He did the right thing for this party. All of us are going to be in this situation someday, and I hope that we take a moment to honor this man and to love this man. I love Joe Biden. I appreciate what he's done, and a lot of people are heartbroken today. Even if it's the right thing, it's still just horrible.
Well, you know what? If you're so heartbroken, you need to take it out on your party, because they hid this. They hid every bit of this because they wanted the Obamas or somebody running it, and I believe it was still Obama running the country this whole time. And that's what's so scary. We haven't really known who's been running our country. We have no idea. They have the power to be like, okay, you're resigning, which he needed to do. That he should have never even ran. He should have never even ran. He should have never even been president. They planned this. And if think for 1 second that Kamala didn't have any idea about this is ludicrous, because she had every idea about this. She knew every bit of this. You can bet it. Absolutely, you can bet it. But let's see what others really think of the reason why this actually took place.
President Joe Biden's announcing he's dropping out of the race. God must have spoken, because he said the only thing that was going to make him bow out was the great Almighty. How did Joe Biden tell the world he wasn't running for re-election? He wrote us a letter. He said, I believe it is in the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and to focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. The guy who got more votes than anybody in American history is leaving after one term. Why is it in the best interest of your country for you to leave, Joe? Well, we know the answer, but why don't you tell us? Is it because the last 4 years have been a disaster? Is it because you're mentally unfit? Or is it because you were pushed out in a bloodless coup? I want to hear him say it. Because if later in the week he says, I'm not running because I can't win, that's not how we do things. Democrats don't get to push candidates through the primary. Millions of Americans vote for them. And if it doesn't look like they can win, rich guys at the convention pick somebody else. That's not what we do in the United States. The entire Biden presidency was a cover-up that got exposed on debate night. And now they want to pick another puppet? That's why we have primaries. This should have all been hashed out in a primary. But they rigged it so no one could expose Joe. And then they kicked RFK Jr. out of the Democratic Party, so he couldn't wind up with the second most delegates. But this isn't close to over. Biden endorsed Kamala Harris on his way out. Then Hillary endorsed Kamala Harris, obviously, because she's a woman. But Barack didn't. Here he is, quote, we will be navigating uncharted waters in the days ahead, but I have extraordinary confidence that the leaders of our party will be able to create a process from which an outstanding nominee emerges. Who do you think is going to run that process? The convention's in Chicago. Kamala might have a big head start on the nomination, but she's not a sure thing. Here's how this convention's supposed to work now. All of Biden's delegates are now uncommitted. This nomination's wide open, and it has to be resolved by mid-August. Primetime interviewed President Trump and his VP nominee, J.D. Vance, this weekend, and this is what they told us about an open convention. You don't even know who you're running against.
No.
You could be debating Kamala. You could be debating Kamala. What's going on?
I have no idea. So we are the most unified party I think that's ever existed. We had 100% of the delegates there with us, and you saw the spirit. There was never a convention like this. And it's so fresh in everyone's mind. It was just a beautiful event. It was, everything about it was beautiful. The camaraderie, but the unity. There's never been anything like it. 100% of the people are for us.
Yep.
And they're for the party. They're for everybody. They're for the senators. They're for the congressmen and women that are running. It was a beautiful thing to watch. There was no dissension. There were no fights on the floor. I mean, some of these conventions are vicious.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a vicious convention in Chicago.
It could be.
So they're going to cook up something at the convention. They might throw Gretchen Whitmer at you. They might throw Gavin Newsom at you. They might throw Michelle Obama at you.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worried about any of them. Look, they have bad policies. Forget about the people. They have an open border policy. They have a high tax policy. They have a bad military policy. The whole world is going woke. Their world is going woke. The Green New Scam, we're spending all our money on things that don't work. The whole thing is a mess.
We'll have more of that interview this hour and tomorrow night. The Democrats aren't changing policies. They're just putting a new face on them. Kamala is even more radical and incompetent than old Joe Biden. She's even more unpopular than the most unpopular president in American history.
Absolutely.
And polls show Trump beats her just as easily as he beats Biden. Trump's now running against Harris Biden because Joe stays in the White House. Harris is still on the ticket, and it's still the same bad record. Is Joe going to speak at the convention? Does Kamala even want Joe to speak at the convention? Are we even going to see Joe over the next 6 months? This is the lamest duck president ever. Kamala doesn't have dementia. That's what this is. And nobody was in on the cover-up more than she was. She spent more time with Joe than anybody.
Yep.
She just wasn't brave enough to blow the whistle. She's been lying to us for 4 years about the president's condition.
If there ever is a problem, do you think that you could go tell the American public? Do you think in your role that you're in a position to do that?
Of course, if necessary, but there's no need for that.
What?
The entire Biden presidency has been a lie. Every voter, Republican and Democrat, has been disrespected. It's fitting that the Biden presidency is ending in disgrace. COVID swept them in, COVID swept them out. Writing resignation letters from your bed with a proverbial gun to your head is the most undignified farewell we've ever seen in Washington. And we've seen a lot. What was Biden's golden parachute? Does he get to keep the Biden Presidential Library? Are his legal fees squared away?
Does he get the book?
Will he get a book advance for a book he'll never write? Did Joe step down in exchange for Hunter getting no prison? Or did they dangle the 25th Amendment over his head?
Mm-hmm.
Democrats may look conniving and powerful today, but they're not. Impeaching Trump, prosecuting him, stealing his money with fines, putting his life in danger, and now stealing 14 million Democrat primary votes. This is desperate. This is a party falling apart, clinging to power by any means necessary. What are they hiding? What are they so terrified of Trump seeing when he gets back in office?
Yep.
Prepare for chaos. Joe Manchin's telling Fox News he's re-registering as a Democrat and considering running against Kamala. RFK Jr., polling in double digits in some battlegrounds. His name's still on the ballot. And any move against Kamala Harris is going to trigger an identity politics bloodbath. The Congressional Black Caucus already endorsing Harris just moments ago. But if it is Harris, the Trump-Harris debate, we could have two. Trump's defeated a woman before. History does have a way of repeating itself. But like the Messiah said himself, we're in uncharted waters.
Mm-hmm. That we are. So with that being said, guys, this is messed up. This is so messed up. Now Joe Manchin wants to re-register as a Democrat. Didn't he just 4 weeks ago register as a Republican? Wow. And did one of y'all say that Kamala tested positive for COVID? Has that been confirmed? No pardons? Because word around the block was that if Joe was to step down, there would be a presidential library for him. There would be millions of dollars. There would be a book deal. And Hunter would get pardoned. See, they can afford for daddy to leave office at this point, which I guess he could do it after if he wanted to, but I don't know. There's something screwy going on here, guys. Something not right. Not right at all. This has gone awry. This has gone completely awry. This is what they are saying about the DNC.
Pence would be part of an agreement that's been brokered by Nancy Pelosi and others, not endorsing Vice President Harris, although he's expected to praise her, but to support an open convention to avoid a so-called Kamala coronation, to allow her to run in an open convention with an expectation of a few other candidates running. He plans to serve out his term as president. And the open convention would operate under rules that are still very much TBD. But there is an understanding that superdelegates would not vote on the first ballot. And so that the choice of the Democratic nominee would be made by the delegates who are Biden-Harris delegates. I think the vice president, if this goes forward, even without the endorsement of President Biden, would be the favorite. I'm told by one source, confirmed, not in full, but enough for my satisfaction, that people close to the vice president have begun to vet potential running mates, including Governor Beshear of Kentucky and perhaps Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. My understanding is she intends to go to the convention with a ticket. Joe Biden intends.
Well, she intends She's already accepted the nomination. That is confirmed. She has accepted the nomination. No, she doesn't have COVID. I just saw you guys down there. Someone was making a joke about it. That's what it was. So no, not reporting she has COVID. So this is getting dicey, man. This is just crazy. This whole entire situation has just gone. I mean, look, we went from the debate to Trump's attempted assassination to now JoJo stepping down but staying president. And he endorsed Kamala. Will the DNC, will the delegates endorse her? Or do they have their own plan of someone else? How will this plan out? These are the questions that are asked. These are the questions that need to be asked. This is just keep your head on a swivel and keep tight, because it's getting bumpy. It's going to get very bumpy. But Trump looked like he was in good spirits with RNC the other night when he spoke. And since then, he has amped up security at Mar-a-Lago.
Secret Service ramping up security around former President Donald Trump's Palm Beach residence, Mar-a-Lago. It comes a week after the former president was almost assassinated at a campaign rally. Now, some of that security is including additional road closures in the area surrounding the property. And according to the town, this increased security will remain in place at least throughout Election Day. The town also says it was ordered by the Secret Service to make these changes, and local officials were not involved in the decision. And this
I'm glad he's up to security. I just hope he knows who the hell he's got in his backyard or who's doing whatever. My understanding is that people had broken through, showed up, and hopefully that will stop at this point. But finally, Trump spoke to Jesse Waters about the assassination, the attempted assassination. He spoke about, had he been given any notice? Let's hear it from Trump himself.
During this guy for an hour beforehand, no one told you not to take the stage?
No, nobody mentioned it. Nobody said there was a problem. And I would have waited for 15. They could have said, let's wait for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 minutes, something. Nobody said, I think that was a mistake. How did somebody get on that roof? And why wasn't he reported? Because people saw that he was on the roof. And you had Trumpers screaming. The woman in the red shirt, she was screaming, there's a man on the roof. And then other people said, there's a man on the roof who's got a gun. And that was quite a bit before I walked onto the stage. So you would have thought somebody would have done something about it.
Former President Trump saying for the first time exclusively to Jesse Waters Primetime that no one warned him not to take the stage, even though they knew it was a threat. There was a threat, and it was this guy almost an hour beforehand. The Secret Service under mounting pressure following the assassination attempt of former President Trump on Saturday. 1 week later, we still have very few answers about the shooter, the motive, and the stunning security lapses. Something we have learned, 20-year-old Thomas Crooks likely flew a drone over the fairgrounds in Butler, Pennsylvania, just hours before Trump took the stage in front of tens of thousands of people. Officials say the predetermined path suggests Crooks flew the drone more than once to scope out the event site. At least 4 congressional committees are planning to probe the security failures that allowed him to gain access to the nearby rooftop that he fired from. Republican Senator Josh Hawley says he's heard from multiple whistleblowers. The idea.
Yes, we played that video last night. He had told anyone who wanted to come forward would be protected. And he states that he has had a few come forward and speak on this. Also, he went to the site. He went to the fairgrounds. And FBI was there, and he was going to go over to the water tower and go further in. They told him he had to leave. He wasn't allowed to go any further, but from the video we showed last night of when he was just on the other side of the fence. So what? It's off limits to go? Why? What's such problematic about the water tower? Now, others have stated that this was a setup, that Trump set this up, and this is what he did just to get notoriety, to help push his campaign. And this angers me when I hear this, because this is an impossible shot to do the way it was done, because I don't know, this pisses me off when I hear somebody say it was a setup. But we have Brandon Herrera, I can't say it. He has a YouTube channel, and I took an excerpt out of the 16-minute video, and he actually reenacted the attempted assassination on Trump. So let's take a watch. I started it at the point of where he is going to take the shot.
4,000 times slower than normal.
Perfect. Well, let's get to it, guys.
Let's do it.
Now, we don't really care about distance on this one since, I mean, the ballistics are going to be negligible. If anything, closer distance should do more damage. So if this just rips right through the ear like it did in real life, then that should definitively prove it. So let's, I just want to make sure we get the most accurate shot possible. Firing.
Did I see a jiggle?
Did you? Oh, I barely clipped the ear. I clipped it right on the side, not on the top. I clipped him, like right there in the middle.
We're gonna have to look for like a vibration. Oh,
yep, there it was.
It. Oh, you definitely grazed the ear.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Whoa.
Damn.
That was like edge of the bullet.
Yeah. I know. That was, I think we could get closer. Yeah, so I think he actually got hit right up here. Okay. The bullet impact was right there. You could see where it just grazed the very edge of like the middle of his ear. But we're going to try to go for the meat.
What I find the most interesting is that the whole head is still there.
That's kind of crazy. I thought it would have disappeared. Firing. Oh yeah, I think that was it. Oh yeah, that was the fucking money shot right there.
That's a perfect sim there.
How's his head still connected?
I don't know. This is crazy. I don't think a bullet actually hit him.
Like his neck's not broken. I don't.
Where do you get the glass to?
I'm taking ballistic out of my name because I clearly don't understand them.
Oh, that was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
Piercing. Yo,
dude, that's wild.
What'd they say? Don't get your ears pierced at Claire's.
When Trump said it felt like he got hit by something, you can see the vibration. It'd feel like someone kind of slapped you on the ear.
I was just going to say, I'm actually personally surprised that it had that much temporary cavity, that much expansion.
But notice how the head is still there.
Yeah. Yeah, if you play it all in full speed, it's like, well, that's very unfucking impressive.
Right.
But
I mean, everybody's making fun of his ear bandage in his speech, saying like, oh, he's wearing a big bandage for sympathy or whatever. You just saw his ear explode from cavitation from getting hit by a gun. Like,
yeah, it looked okay, because I know he was golfing the next day, which talk about fucking Chad energy right there.
I mean, Evander Holyfield finished the round, so I mean.
Yeah, well, yeah, to be fair. You got, assassination attempt at 8, but you've got a tea time at 9 a.m. Like, yeah, what you gonna do? A lot of people talk about how Trump turned his head at the last minute, and that's what saved his life. And it's really easy to see. Like, there's graphics and shit of it, but now that we have a ballistic dummy here, you can actually plainly see the trajectory the bullet took to go through the ear the way that it did. If his head was tilted the way that it was before he went to go look at that graph, it's hitting a lot of, the really important lizard brain stuff that makes you, continue to breathe. So him turning his head at the last minute got a lot of the vital part of his brain out of the way of that bullet, which is just, talk about luck. We might be having a very different conversation had that not been the case. I think that is what would qualify as too soon. Speaking of too soon, you want to gank the shooter?
It's so much different when you see it like that. To say that, and if you go back to that video in the very beginning, he actually shows you that he goes 130 yards out. To hit that shot, he said with heart rate, he would have had to line his scope up multiple times to even get to that point. That's why we're going to go further into this. We're going to go a lot further into it. That's why I believe that there were about 3 shooters, possibly 4, but I do believe there were 3 shooters. Now, on the 911 call that we played, I'll go back and get it again, and we will play it. Give me 1 second. Just takes a sec to pull it. Make sure I have everything together. Let's listen to the 911 call again. The ferries have been loads. Yeah, thank God. Wow. It is different when you see it like that, isn't it? It's like so surreal. So, you know, it blew the ear. It blew it out. And if he hadn't turned his head, it would have been very different. But here's the 911 call.
Shots fired towards the blue water tank. Blue water tank. That's right. I got one down on the inside. Medical crew, get in command. Medical crew, get in command. Chief 12-3, let me know what you need. All EMS crews, get inside buildings. Stay secure inside buildings. Total 1 to all units, be advised, we're evacuating. Stay inside the building. We're evacuating the crowd. Copy, crowd is evacuating. All units operating Butler Farm Showgrounds. Facilities on lockdown, everyone stay inside. Operations on fire up 6. All units operating Butler Farm Showgrounds. Facilities on lockdown, everyone stay inside. Operations on fire up 6.
EMT Caldwell to any connoissing units. I have 2 in the bus.
Back. So she said there was 2 in the woods. 2 in the woods. I say that because this other video I'm going to play here shortly will confirm that. But let's see what Maria had to say first.
The local officers went up to that roof and started taking pictures of the dead body, of the shooter's body. So suddenly a guy in a gray suit walks up the ladder and goes up to the roof. And this guy in the gray suit, who didn't appear to have credentials, everybody assumed he was the Secret Service. So he tells one of the local law enforcement, send those pictures to this cell phone. And he gives him a number. And everybody assumed, well, that must be Secret Service. It turns out it wasn't Secret Service.
Some guy in a suit walks up the ladder. They believed he was Secret Service. I'm not sure whether they gave credentials, but that's part of again, Maria, this is so preliminary. I'm issuing this. I'm providing this information, a much more detailed timeline to prompt others to come forward. We need to complete this picture. We have a lot of puzzle pieces to fill in here.
Is it odd to you that the locals were being told to send the pictures to the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency, ATF? Where does ATF come in?
The oddity starts with the fact that local law enforcement were just tasked with securing the perimeter, told to go cover that AGR building, not really told where to set up, so they set up on the second floor. They went to that AGR building at 10:30 in the morning. So they were stationed there well in advance. You know, they noticed this suspicious character at 5:10. They took a photo of him at 5:14. The president was shot at 6:11. You know, so again, an hour has passed. You know, again, they don't communicate. They didn't have communication same channels with their law enforcement patrol officers. They weren't in communication with the Secret Service other than going through the Butler County Communication Center. So again, it's everything you would assume about Secret Service protection of a former president was not true. It didn't happen. It's just baffling to me. It should baffle the American public. That's why we need to find the answers and find out what actually happened here.
I agree with that because there's so much more that is going on than what we've been told. Now we dig, we find videos, and the water tower has been a huge topic of conversation. Others say there is someone on top, and there are those that say, no, nobody was on top of that water tower. And they say, I don't know how you can get onto the top of the water tower, but you can get on top of the water tower. There's a ladder in the back to where you can get on the top of the water tower and make your way up. And there's a ladder on one side of the water tower at the very top to where you can crawl up on yet. But let's watch the water tower.
Take a look at what happened. That chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
You're right. That's a shooter. Brandon, it was not that blurry, but you're entitled to your opinion, son. I don't even know who that one is. God only knows. We get trolls. But yes, you can make out that there's someone on top of that. If you look into it, it's 3 videos, okay? It's 3 ways, and I will play it again.
Take a look at what happened.
So, I don't know what the distance and size of the water tower is either. Well, I guess you'll have to research it, won't you? You can see a figure of a man in dark clothes. Yes, you can. We told them so. We knew that there had to be a shooter up there. Absolutely. The damage that happened, and first off, who is the man in the gray suit? Who is the man in the gray suit? And why was he up there? And he wanted pictures taken, and he wanted those specific pictures sent to a number.
Trying to find out what happened, if there is a suspect, if the suspect is in custody or taken down. It would not be surprising because there was very quick response, as there always would be in this kind of situation. This is developing very quickly. It has happened very quickly. As you can see, some law enforcement mulling around there. The crowd not moving, appearing to be stunned, and clearly.
I'd like to know who he is. There was a picture that was taken at one point. But here is the war room. Oh no, InfoWars. And he had a special guest on here who's ballistics and so much more. And this is what he has to say.
Traveling along that back row of bleachers that takes out the guy in the white shorts and the white shirt and hits the railing, that's 2 points on a line. I've got a line. Guess where the line points? You're going to get goosebumps. Let's pull up the diagram. New crime scene infographic. Can you guys pull that up? New crime scene infographic. The line of people that just got shot in the back row of the bleachers, if we follow that round backwards, where did it come from? That's the round that just missed the snipers on the roof. You see the snipers jump backwards. They jump backwards. They reposition. The guy on the right is ducking in the fetal position. They're taking fire. The first shot is at the snipers, and they miss. And you see the sniper jumps back, moves his gun back. That shot that missed the sniper is that red line you see in this diagram. That shot misses them and goes right down the back row of the bleachers.
Where do you suppose this shot is coming from? Because it would have to be on a downward angle.
It's on a semi-downward angle, and this is the uncomfortable part of all this, is that shot is coming from the woods. It's coming from a tree.
I wonder if we'll know the truth. If we'll ever know the truth about it. I know when I first watched that video of the water tower, before this one was done, and then it has 3 different ones in it. As I'm watching it, I thought I saw something on top, and then all of a sudden you'll see it repel. You'll see something black just drop so quick. And I thought, wait a minute, something's there. You guys, this is not just a 20-year-old that is up there. I have my own theories about all that mess too. But here is an eyewitness that was there.
And so
Okay, so people, it was like a Taylor Swift thing. They're all gathered around because they didn't have tickets.
We actually saw Trump come up the stage, like the back steps to where he kind of came ever forward, whatever, obviously, because I could not see because I was along the fence line. We saw him come up, and it happened short moment. Like I'm only grasping it in moments because it seemed like such a quick time that it happened within, but it seems like it was only maybe 10, 13, 15-ish minutes that all this transpired within. And I am only here to tell my story because I do not want the media to put out a narrative that is not true, that it didn't happen, that it's fake. I was right there. I was standing feet from where the shooter was on the roof. And I am not even 100% sure if the man that they're portraying to us right now is the actual shooter. I don't know if I should necessarily say that or if I have the brains to say that, but I saw some gentleman pull up into the blocked off parking lot where there were only empty police cars that they had left to park. And this person came up on a black motorcycle. It was a Harley. They were wearing very tight black wash skinny jeans with a yellow "Don't Tread on Me" flag around their neck. They got off the motorcycle. I noticed them for a moment because I noticed the flag and it stuck in my brain.
Right.
And so I noticed them and I turned back around towards where Trump was, towards the fence to listen. And then I'm just kind of, looking around, taking in the area around me. And then I turned obviously all the way around me and he is gone and he's no longer there. And so I looked to my right up the fence line and I did not see him. And he's wearing that large flag on his back, so he would be easy to spot in the crowd. And there's not very much farther than you could go from where I was looking. And so then I looked back to where his bike was parked and I saw that the side door of the building was wide open. And I had walked right past that door maybe half an hour before Trump pulled up. So I saw that door was not open. And then when I noticed that the door was not open, I saw a police officer coming straight towards the door. And then I saw a state trooper coming from my right running, and I saw him draw his weapon. And then more cops came running towards that general area, fleeing around the building. And then all of a sudden, what I heard was 5 shots. I know what gunshots sound like, and they were 100% gunshots. I don't think they were from a super high powerful gun or anything like that. I just think it's something that anybody could probably get,
Yeah.
So
yes, it would seem to me if there was one there to be used for a criminal purpose, it would probably be one that's concealable because I mean, I don't want to make any stereotypes. I've never been to a Trump event, but I assume it's like an open carry type of style of thing where you're not going to want to be the antagonist. Not there.
Brittany, I went through security, and there's definitely no way you could get a gun into the route.
There's no way.
No way.
That's good to know. There was metal detectors and stuff.
Yeah, it was the whole
hundreds
Secret
of cops.
Service was everywhere. You had to go through metal detectors. Now, I will say they were lenient because some people were allowed to bring certain things in that they said you weren't allowed to bring in.
Like what?
For instance, aerosolized sunscreens.
Right, the spray.
Like a spray.
Right. They were we don't want these people cooking out here in this sun because look at them. It's hot.
But that's what all I'll say is it didn't even sound like gunfire at first. It sounded like somebody letting off firecrackers and then all of a sudden everybody got
that's
down.
from the video that I'm watching, playing. It was like, it didn't sound like that. Like it was like pow pow, like little pow.
But to the average person who has never experienced something like that before, I have actually experienced a shooting in my life before. I've been through something like that. So I immediately knew what those were. And I'm not exactly sure if they came from the police, from the shooter. I that's something I will not speculate on. And again,
We don't know how many came from where and who and what.
No, I heard initially 5. I can count them off from sound recognition, like in memory in my head. And like I said, I've been through a shooting before, and so I do have a little bit of that trauma brain inside of me. So going through something like this again, I immediately was like, oh my gosh, this is a shooting, and I don't, so I'm not sure. And like, again, I'm not, like you said, not trying to speculate or stereotype or anything like that. But to me, people that are there are saying that they saw this gentleman army crawling and trying to scale the side of the building with a gun. And I saw someone come up on a motorcycle who should not have been there, dressed like MAGA people would be, or Trump supporters, whatever you want to call us. And he disappeared. And then the door was open of the building that should obviously not have been open. And then the cops were surveilling. So something is fishy about the whole thing.
Educate me on what's the deal with the roof. I didn't get to that point in the, I'm not sure what is, are they shot the guy? He was on the roof?
Supposedly there are photos, and I can text you the photo, Brittany, later, of the gentleman that they supposedly, that was the shooter that they killed. He was on the roof, and so there's photos going around that people are sharing.
Then presumably the projectile would have had to come from an upward angle down.
Correct, and it did not seem like it came from an upward angle. And then my other friend who was there sitting, I had a few friends that were in the first few rows, and people definitely got shot.
Yes.
They saw you. Did some of your friends saw people, or
unarmed civilian people got shot by this person?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm telling you, there was more than one shooter, and it's questionable about crooks and how that all set up. And then they find the phone on the roof. I don't know. Everything just, to me, is like it's been strategically placed there. Hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. I don't know if we ever will get to the bottom of it. I just don't. Now I believe that, God uses people. He's using Trump to do what he needs done for America. But I also believe people can have visions and prophecies. I believe people can have that ability, as Kim Clement, Julie, many people, and what they have said and prophesied has come to fruition, especially Kim Clements. He had actually stated all about the attempted assassination and everything. Well, here's a gentleman, and he actually had said that Trump would be attempted assassination on his life the way it happened. He now has another prophetic.
Praying over the woman, another attempt against President Trump that I have seen. That she is a blonde-headed woman, and she has a French twist in her hair with a beautiful dress on, coming in a ball gown, pretending that she's dressed up for the event, and she tries to hurt him again. We have to stop this stuff. And I warn, and I pray to God that the whoever is a part of Trump's team hears me what I'm trying to say. They could be on a lookout for this. And like I said, after this last incident and them not stopping that dude on the roof after he took all them shots, I would hire some new security. I mean, because obviously he needs some more. So this woman, so we pray against that. Okay. So
he's very adamant about it too. You guys have to check out his page. He's on TikTok as well. But I don't know. The world's going crazy. Earlier today in Los Angeles, this happened. A woman with a samurai sword. Well, she did. She got 3 people. One survived, is in critical condition, but she did kill 2 other people. We have people in Los Angeles trying to molest cars, as a video last night. And a lot of people are saying that Harris possibly may put Gavin Newsom up as the nominee. This world has gone to shit. I don't think she wanted to be on Earth no more. Sometimes I don't want to be on Earth no more. But I thought this was funny. Breaking. District Attorney Alvin Bragg files 2 new criminal charges against Donald Trump, including avoidance of a targeted projectile and obstruction of an assassination attempt. You know, if they really could do that, they probably would. They probably freaking would. I just hope Trump is going to have his head on a swivel. And I think he's smarter and he's wiser now. Because they're not done. Absolutely, we need to pray. They're not done. They want their agenda. They wanted to follow through with it. They'll stop at nothing to get that done. And it's a scary thought to see the lengths that these people will go. I never thought this may have been going on for generations, and I just was so asleep to it, and I didn't even realize it or notice it. I mean, we've got the assassination of Kennedy. Man, I still believe John. I believe that was because Hillary Clinton became the senator at that time. He was going to run for it. He was running for it. And then she got the place after he went down in his plane. So there's a lot of things that these people will do and stop at nothing. But I'm going to tell you, this.
Take a look at what happened.
I'm going to tell you, that was a shooter on top of that damn water tower. And I don't care what anybody says. But we need to definitely pray, and that's what we have to do for Trump and his family at this point in time. Our prayers are with you, Trump. And with that, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming tonight. I appreciate it. Short show tonight. I have to get up and go to work in the morning. I would sit here and we talk further. They're not done, though. There'll be another. I hate to say it too. There will be. And I hate to speak that because I don't like speaking things, because you can speak things into existence. So we just have to be cautious and know that God is here. He is protecting him. And you just have to pray more than you've ever prayed before. But I do believe there were multiple shooters. And let's just see what happens this week. When the head of the Secret Service has to come and speak, will she? Will they try to prevent that from happening? To stall it, to keep it from happening. And truly, why did Joe Biden really remove himself from the race? Why did he really do it? Did he think he couldn't win? This is a plan, you guys, that they already had this whole entire time. They knew at some moment. This is a plan they're pushing through anyway. You see, even since Trump was not assassinated, they went ahead with their plan. Joe Biden is out. Trump is still in. But I believe they're pushing forward with the plan that they had originally. So I guess this week's going to be very huge, but maintain peace and pay attention to the vice president that she puts up. That is going to be very important. Pay attention to who she nominates or who they nominate for vice president, because that's someone that we're definitely going to need to watch. Definitely need to watch, because I don't know, there's a lot of fast and pray. Absolutely, because the world is in total chaos. But isn't it such a wonderful feeling of knowing the Lord and knowing that He is in control and He is protecting? We've seen that. We've seen how He protected a hedge of protection around Trump completely. He protected that man, and Trump knows that. Trump knows that very much. And Grandma, congratulations on your granddaughters getting baptized. That was beautiful. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Absolutely. And with that, guys, have a great week. And keep your head on a swivel. Be safe. Oh, before I do this, everyone, we have some new merchandise coming this week. We will be showing it. You will love it. Everyone go get your hat.
Time to fight back, dawg, they won't like that. Everywhere is somewhere, and that's where the fight's at. I think time to fight back, dawg, they won't like.
Everyone go to www.dacustomsleather.com. He does so much work. 781-389-8179. Go check it out. Like I said, some new stuff coming this week. It's going to be some really cool stuff, and you guys will enjoy it. I promise. And with that, cut your